A recent exchange with a viewer has given me the idea to do this video where we will basically discuss the pros and cons of data mining. Data mining is something that everyone is familiar with if you've been playing World of Warcraft for any given time. It's become so commonplace that it's pretty much expected to happen before every patch or expansion at this point. Every type of thing has been data mined over the years, from minor flavor texts to big story reveals. However, I played a bit of Final Fantasy XIV when it exploded in popularity recently, and I realized that there is no data mining that you could find online. Further so, data mining is explicitly banned by FF14's rules, meaning that whenever a new patch or expansion for Final Fantasy XIV releases, everything is new. There is a sense of wonder and exploration that is often missing from World of Warcraft patches, considering they are usually data mined to oblivion by the time the content actually comes out. Even if you try to avoid it, you will often see many thumbnails or Reddit posts that spoil the patch pretty much in the title. The biggest thing in recent memory that was similar was when the animation for Sylvanas jumping into the maw was data mined, and it was everywhere. The big reason people remember their early experiences of World of Warcraft so fondly, whether that was back in vanilla or later, the thing that they usually tell me that totally blew them away was the exploration of the massive world and just being wonderstruck at just how much there is. There are loads of people who, for example, leveled a night elf in Teldrassil, only to find themselves being amazed that Teldrassil is not the whole game and that there is a whole huge world out there waiting that's many times bigger than just Teldrassil. Now imagine, for the sake of argument, that player who was so wonderstruck about seeing the world outside of Teldrassil looked up MMO Champion or Wowhead or something similar, and basically there saw the whole world map, saw all the assets for all the zones, all the models, all the strings for quests, strings for talents, strings for everything you could do in the game basically. Even if you're fine with spoilers, this is gonna lessen your experience, because a huge part of RPGs is the exploration factor. If you play Skyrim and decide to go off the beaten path, that's so fun because you don't actually know what you will find. However, in World of Warcraft, many times you already know every path possible and everything up to the raid even, and usually even the last boss of the game, their mechanics, their arena, their quotes, etc. With data mining, you lose that factor of just seeing something for the first time and being blown away by it. For Dragonflight, I decided to lay off all the data mining stuff. I even avoided the trailers, and now I am in the Dragon Isles, leveling slowly. I'm only level 67 by this point, and I didn't even leave the second zone yet, because I read and do all the quests I come across, not just the campaign ones, but the side ones as well. And I gotta say, this is the most enjoyment I ever had questing in World of Warcraft, on the level of my first time coming to Azeroth, because while I do have some idea of the zones, I do not actually know what they are gonna be like at all, nor the story of the game. The story of the game is something that gets ruined a lot by data mining. People would see a scene out of context without really understanding it, however they will decide whether it's good or bad without even playing the game. That's like opening a book, flipping to the last page, reading a bit of that last page, not even the whole thing, and then based on those fragments from that page, you decide how you feel about the whole book, start to finish. So when game launches, they will blaze through the campaign and see that same scene again, probably not even read the quests, but again they don't have any actual idea of what's going on. One of many people's gripes with Shadowlands was that the story wasn't told properly and that it wasn't told in the game, so they had no idea what was going on, but 95% of the story is actually told through the game, and it's right there for everyone to see. However, what many people see is this abridged, torn apart version made out of code, strings and unfinished voice lines, the models that are usually unfinished or maybe even finished but still kinda weird when they are not in their proper environment, etc. The model for Defeated Jailer, for example, was data mined a long time before 9.2 went live. Then the animation of Sylvanas jumping into the maw that I mentioned earlier was data mined as well. Everyone basically knew what was going to happen and nothing was left to surprise. This last point might not stand for everyone, as not everyone cares about the story spoilers and can watch a movie just fine knowing the ending, but a point that I'm certain stands for every RPG players is world exploration. The problem is we don't see the world when we log into the new expansion for the first time. We see the world months before an expansion comes out, but we see it in pieces, in lone models, in voice lines, in placeholders. We see the whole raid, the bosses of the raid, the gear from the raid. There is no sense of wonder that came when entering Black Temple or Icecrown Citadel for the first time. You are not walking into the unknown, you are walking into something that you read and heard over and over and over about. Now compare that to any other RPG. Usually the single player ones. Skyrim is a really good example, where exploring the world is the central point of the game. It's more important than the story, than the character customization, than gameplay even. I'll be the first one to say that combat in Skyrim is okay. It's alright if you're melee, but spellcasting is kinda too sluggish for my taste. Not only that, Skyrim is riddled with bugs to the point where it's become a meme. The story of Skyrim is nothing really mind-blowing, it's alright, even Todd Howard calls it generic fantasy, but all of that doesn't matter because people still come back to Skyrim and even try it out for the first time 10 years after it came out, because they know that when they go into Skyrim, they are going in for a hell of a ride where they see everything from autumn woods to frozen tundras with Aurora Borealis adorning the skies. I really do not think the players would feel that close emotional connection with Skyrim if not for the feeling of losing breath when looking at the Rift, for example, for the first time. And I'm not even gonna show the Rift in the video because I want you to see it for the first time yourself. RPG games are supposed to immerse you into a world. It's supposed to shut down the outside world, and a good RPG will make you forget that you are not that character on the screen in that game world. You get into the flow state while playing the game, and that's the ultimate form of game enjoyment in my opinion. Don't you think that it's hard to get immersed into a world where everything around you is in your mind titled along the lines of 3_model_01? The magic is lost. You saw into the cogs of the machine and now you know how it works, what all the cogs are called, and you stop seeing it as a world but as lines of code. Nothing is a surprise anymore after data mining, and I believe it hurts the game in 99% of the cases. However, there are cases where it can do some good. The most recent example that comes to mind is when Shadowlands Keystone Master Season 4 mount got data mined, and there was a huge outcry that it was changed to the purple boy we got today. That was a good thing, but an argument can be made that players could have seen the mount on the PTR or even on live servers, and the player outcry would be the same, leading to it being changed. In that niche case, I can potentially see some benefit of data mining, but other than that, I feel like it ruins the experience of the game for many players, even if they don't necessarily realize it. This is just something that I've come to realize from a few conversations that I've had, and it's definitely been true in my case. I've only realized that after avoiding data mining the whole time before an expansion launched, and even then I still saw some spoilers. However, Dragonflight leveling has been so fun for me and I'm really taking my time with it. I think Final Fantasy XIV developers understand this, and this is one of the reasons they are so opposed to data mining, to the point that your account gets straight up banned. What do you think about data mining? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Are you neutral about it? Do you go out of your way to see the new models and new achievements and stuff before an expansion launches? Or do you totally avoid it and wait for the actual expansion to see what's what? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more videos like this, feel free to like and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one if you decide to stick around. Peace.